Hi there, I'm Ross, and we're going to look at the Lightning Talks part of the Remote Design Sprint. Let's get into it. The Lightning Talks are around in the Remote Design Sprint where you want to get some inspiration. You need to share research, you need to share some of the goals and ambitions of the product team lined up with the wider business. And really, Lightning Talks are a way of getting that team up to speed with the whole mission and ambition of the product team. The way I used to run Lightning Talks was we would share websites or products that would be inspirational to the group and heighten the kind of level of where everyone was thinking. The trouble with that I found is that people would share their favorite websites or products, and it didn't really help anyone within the team start solving the problem. So what I've done with encouragement from the Google Design Sprint Kit is add more structure to the Lightning Talks so that we start hitting off those key areas within what we need to know and what we need to start considering as we converge onto a decision point. So it's a 30-minute session, and what each person within the team are going to do is cover an area that is something that they deal with in their role, or they've done some previous research, they've got some information, and they're going to use some time to share what they need to share. So every talk that someone shares, the team is going to write some notes in our format of how might we's. And when we're talking about how might we's, the how assumes opportunities exist. The might says we don't have to find something. And the we is all about doing this together. So this is what the activity looks like. We've got some key areas, and I'll share what those look like. So the product vision, business goals. This is a great talk for the senior stakeholder or the decider to lead. And this is where they will share with the team the vision, mission, and where all of this is going. They'll share some of the primary challenges, what keeps them up at night, what problems exist, but also where the business opportunity is. Is there anything they want to increase? Is there anything they want to decrease? And any further opportunities to grow or to reduce risk? So that's what a decider or a senior stakeholder is going to share, the product vision and business goals. The second part, voice of the user. So someone within user research, maybe it's a UX designer, maybe it's someone in customer service. They are going to know who the user is and what some of their key needs are and key pain points. So who is our key user? What are their needs? And how do they solve their problem right now? You may have one key user or customer. You may have a couple. Maybe use the time to focus on the most important one, or the one that the team don't know most about. And ideally, you don't have like 10 and 20 key customers. There's often 1, 2, 3, that kind of area. What you can do as a visual guide is use something like a proto persona, where you can share the demographic information, the behaviors, the challenges, and some of the goals. And ideally, the team have been doing research around the remote design sprints, so they are well informed as to what those behaviors are and what some of those user needs are. So that's a good way to kind of format that talk. Maybe share some feedback that they've had, maybe some of the key issues. If you've got an existing product in the App Store, maybe screenshot some of the 5 or 4 star or 1 star review, and really show some of that user centricity within the product team. The third is the existing product audit and design evolution. If this is an existing product, this is a great talk to share how it's evolved over time. What have we tried and what has worked, and maybe what hasn't worked so well. And this is to help with guiding the team to ensure that they're learning from past mistakes and past failures, make sure that history doesn't repeat, but also what are the opportunities, what has been the product life cycle. If you're starting with a brand new product, maybe you can say what work you've done so far, what the key kind of ideas around the product are. And this portion of the lightning talks just shares some of that area of how this product came to being and what it needs to do. This talk is great for a product owner, head of product, someone that's managing the key products. It can be a designer, and it just seeks to inform the team. If you have an existing product, you could take screenshots, put it in your mural, and you can kind of point out what things look like. Competitor audit. This is a kind of evolution of where I used to do lightning talks. The competitor audit can take some competitors. I've put 3 in here, but you can go on for longer. And really, you're looking at their strengths, their weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you could start saying, hey, competitor number 1, huge user base, very fast release schedule. Their weaknesses, though, they are getting poor 5-star reviews. They're not getting 5-star reviews. What are the opportunities? They don't seem to be doing anything on social media. They don't seem to be having a good help base. There's very little humanity in this product. And some of the threats, well, this product and company has been acquired by a larger one. They probably have more money. Maybe there's a threat that they could speed things up. That's often not always the case. But this gives you a format, a structure to help audit some of your competitors. You can take this on a bit. You could do attribution mapping. You could take screenshots and look at how they message their proposition. You could, if this sprint is around a landing page, you could show some of their landing pages. Really, it's flexible within the framework. It is something that you can use to your best advantage. And then technology considerations and opportunities. This is great for a lead developer or engineer. And the reason I think a good engineering or development voice is required within a design sprint, certainly in terms of products, is that this will eventually be put into production. So let's de-risk that enterprise and look at what is our tech stack. Where do we think this product's going to be? A lot of this is assumption and previous conversations put into the sprint. And some of the team may feel like you're going over things like, don't we already know this? Some of the advantage of the sprint is that you revisit and you repeat. And this helps people think about how they're problem solving and responding to the sprint challenge. So you may say, is there an existing roadmap? Which platforms are we going to capitalize on? What about data storage? How are we going to manage that? How do we address privacy? And is there any personalization within this? These are key questions that a technologist can help answer. And it really helps add some constraints or guardrails around the product design that you're doing. So turn by turn, you can use the timer and start going through those lightning talks. And as you're going through, you can start writing some how might we's. Essentially, note-taking in the open and together is going to help everyone get aligned, also expose opportunities, and help the reduction of disruption within the team as you go forward. There have been some cases in sprints where later on down the line, someone would voice up and say, hey, I thought of this earlier. I've thought of this on day one, and I think I need to say it again. That can be quite hard for a facilitator to navigate around. Sometimes they have to revisit the whole material or everything that's come before that point to align the team again. And you want to ensure that everyone's having a fair voice, everyone's being included, and that's going to reduce any disruption as you go forward. So that is the lightning talks. Each person goes turn by turn, set a timer, and spend roughly around 7 minutes for each talk. Expand it if you need to. But at the end of the lightning talks, you're going to have a good view as to what this product needs to achieve, what you need to achieve as a team, some of the considerations, some of the user-centered data that you've had already. And this format is way more structured than the initial design sprints that I started running. It allows the team to have a great space for documentation as they go forward. And that's what the Lightning Talks activity looks like on the remote design sprint. If you like this video, give it a like and consider sharing it with someone who needs to see it.